There's my basil planted next to... Hi, it's Robbie from Southern California. You know, every time I do this type of video, I never can find what I've done. And you probably won't either. But if you see this video, you'll get some tips. Today in the morning, before the sun comes up, I'm actually working in the garden. This basil I planted in this, I think it's a milk container. I'm not even sure what it is doing so good. I'm not going to take it out. So I figured I'll show you. This is going to have a whole bunch of little tips and tricks on things I'm doing. I'm going to cut the bottom, and I'm going to drop the entire container in another container, but I'm going to leave it in there. I don't want to touch it. It's doing good, and I want to put this in my new tomato garden in the dog kennel. That's going to be good. I have so much peppers. Oh my goodness. I'm trying to find places for them. They're turning yellow. They're so root bound. But anyways, these are more zucchini, some from seed. Didn't get it planted. I'm working on that. Let me show you what I did. Oh, look at the dishpan. And then I'll show you what I did that is going to be a lifesaver for me. I don't know if you can use the tip. These are the red dishpans. They're smaller than the black ones. These are they're under $5 a piece. I love these. I grow so much in them. This is, I think it's 12 quarts, and this is 18. This is great. These racks, I picked this up from Walmart a few years ago. I'm going to get one of them out of there. I'm going to bring it out here, and I'm going to have them here because I know how to cover them. I can protect them when I need to, so it's going to be really, really good. This has been a lifesaver for me too. That's a whole video in itself because I'm composting in those now, but I'm doing it in the plants, and I'll have to show you how I do that another time. I'm not going to do that now. So all in all, this is coming along good. I'm pulling out the milkweed. I really haven't gotten to this section as far as doing more than the first two, and now it's overgrown. I've got to redo it. Gee, I did this in the winter, and I've been growing tomatoes, but I want to change it up. This is coming along good. I'm getting hit with raindrops. Must be mist. This has been great. Oh, I wasn't even going to show you this. Not for any particular reason other than you probably wouldn't be interested. This is a pepino. Let me show you my other pepino. Look at this. If you leave this, let me try to get in here. If you leave the fruit till it's yellow, it's sweet like a melon. See, they turn a little bit purple. They'll get bigger, and then they'll get yellowish, and you can eat them like a melon. Otherwise, you can pick them now, and you can roast them. You know, let's say if you're making, like Gary puts tortillas in the broiler in the morning, you can roast them, you can stir fry them, you can cook with them. But when they get sweet, you don't want to cook with them. You want to eat them like a melon. But going back to the pepino here, this one was struggling and doing really bad. It was in this tote. Now, why? Look at the soil. There was only that much soil. It just dropped down. The plant utilizes it. Everything you put in there kind of compacts, and that's common, especially when you're container gardening. Well, I was trying to figure out how I could refurbish that because their roots are on the top, see? I thought, no. I'm not going to put a bunch of soil on top. So what I did was I set this up like I always do. I put in leaves and stuff I collected around the garden and filled it all up to about here. So you're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, probably about 8 inches. Then I took a shovel, dug it around, and I gently lifted it up, kind of like a carpet. The whole thing was lifted, and I laid it on top of what I already packed with leaves and everything in there, you know, because I'm composting in place. And now I've got this tote. So my new thing I'm going to do, this is going to be great. I just have to go through now and groom it, and then I'll throw all the pieces in there, rebuild that up, and plant in there. So I don't have to do anything but just give it a new home, and you're going to see this thing burst into life. Since I did this yesterday and it hasn't died back, I think it's going to do great. So all this here, my goal is, let me step over here. I still haven't showed you the big thing, is to do zucchini here. Why? Because I'm tired of running around looking for a male flower and a female flower. I'll be able to do it all right here. Then I can get a male flower off of that one and pollinate the female flower here. So I'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 totes set up just with zucchini. In there, I've got other things going. I do have a zucchini in there I've got to move. That's going to be the one I'm going to move. I accidentally planted it in there, and it's not planted. It's in a pot. But I looked at it and thought, uh-oh, it's even labeled, and I brought it in there. I'm doing cucumbers in there because the problem with that is the squirrels here love cucumbers. And when I had it growing on the top last year, they were picking it off before me. So this is going to be all zucchini. This is panic belt grass. And then I'm collecting for the spice finches we have. So I will bundle this up when I get into it, and then tie it up with some string and tie it in the bird garden, let them eat the seeds, because that gives off tiny seeds and they'll eat that. But I'm getting all the milkweed out. See, I took all the, if you remember, I had milkweed all through here. I didn't plant it. It just came up like what's on the ground and all around me. And that's why we have hundreds of monarchs when the sun comes out. So I'm moving the milkweed. It looks terrible when you first pull it out, but I'm putting them in pots and then I'm moving them. And if somebody contacts me, they need milkweed, I've got it. It is misting. It's like a light drizzle, very light. Anyways, this is going to be perfect. So I've got a zucchini growing here. See, I missed that one. Did not pollinate it. The bees can get in on the top, but if the bees go in and they don't come back with pollen, then it doesn't matter. So it doesn't matter how many, you can have 100 bees in there, but if they're taking the pollen and not returning with other pollen, male and female flowers, you're not going to get the fruit anyways. Keep that in mind. So I always try to hand pollinate when possible. So that's the first one I planted about a month and a half ago. Then I planted this one. Yes, it's in a pot. Layering works for me. Big, massive holes on the pot on the bottom. This is only a plant that's going to grow for what, 6 months to a year, not even a year. It's going to send the roots out to the bottom of the tote. It's going to grow just as big. You want to see what this is? Look at this. I didn't even take this one, look at this, out of the sour cream container. It's still there. Big holes. It sent it out. Isn't that cool? It sent it out into the tote and it's growing. That was growing in a cottage cheese container or a sour cream container. So I'm leaving that in there. It gives lift. And the reason I love this is because I can come through on a hot summer day, hit this with water, don't have to worry about the rest. I know the water is going directly to the roots. And if you had it in the ground or just in a container growing, you can hit it with water. But if there's an underground river that takes it to the drain holes, then the plant doesn't get the water, it drains out and you don't have that much water. This works fantastic. I've done it. You regulars have seen me do it with tomato plants and they grow great. Would I do that to a perennial? I have, but it's better not to. But I have, and they're still growing in the bird garden. All those massive big plants are still in their pots. They've sent their roots in the ground and they've been growing for years and they're in the pot. But for annuals like this, perfect. So anyways, all this is coming out. Then I can move my walking onions that I've got growing in milk cartons, get this out, and then this is all going, this is kind of a mishmash video. This isn't even planned. Look at this, all milkweed. I pulled some of it out already. Then I've got pots I'm setting up all along here. And that's where a lot of them are going to be going, in there. And then I don't know how far I'm going to go with the milkweed, but I did bring it to the end of the black totes over there. And that's what I'm working on right now. All right, let's go back. This is another subject. I'm changing that up big time. This is what is buying me time, is helping me. Because you got to keep something in mind. All this, all our gardens, I'm doing it. These are all mine. Gary said, every time you build another garden, don't come running to me. If I have time, I'll help you with something. He's got his own work and stuff to do. So I've got so many gardens, it's crazy. There's the bird garden. Here's the new, I call it the tomato garden, but you're all calling it the salsa garden. See, here's a milkweed I yanked out yesterday. I cut it all the way back. Cannot throw the stems away. The stems that I cut from the big bushes, let me swing you lightly, have to go against the wall in the totes in case they have eggs or caterpillars I didn't see. And then they'll hatch and come out and go onto the plants. I might leave this one. It looks really pretty. It's not really in the way. So I put them in a pot here. Why do I put them here as soon as I get them out? Because I have a hose here and I can quickly water them multiple times a day. Or I can put the pot with the milkweed that I just moved on a tray of water. After a few days, it'll be fine. But, oh, I came over here to show you something. Okay, that's not good. Hopefully I'll remember it in a minute. But anyways, I've been working, what was I telling you? I was working in here. Oh my goodness. Let me stop and look for a minute. There's a hummingbird. I looked. I wasn't even telling you anything. I was just showing you the new garden. The hummingbird is talking to me. So anyways, this new garden I'm still working on, and I've got to get it covered in tulle. If I don't cover it, I'm going to come out here one day and I'm going to cry. Will I cry? I probably would. If all this was taken down by a squirrel. I'm probably going to show you how I'm going to do it, because I'm sure some of you may want to see it, even if it's just to kick back, have a cup of coffee, and watch me do it. But it won't take me long. And this is going to be a very, very simple, cheap cover is what I'm going to do. So that I didn't have anything special. Look, we've been eating strawberries. We had strawberries last night. Not from here. Actually, from the strawberries I'm growing on the tables back there. So this is what's buying me time. Oh, look at the garlic. I got to show you how to do that. Anyways, I want to clean all this up. And the first thing to do to clean this up is get the soil out. This has got soil. This has got soil. All those have soil. So I'm working on moving things around. And then we'll do this another day. But let me show you what is really buying me time. You know, this is the same bag that I planted up the entire tomato garden with. I told you I just use a handful. Isn't that cool? I'm not even through half the bag, but I use a handful when I'm transplanting the seedlings, especially the ones I bought. I'm going to show you, I will have to show you differently how to do this. I can't really do it here, but I've got a technique right now, and I think it's going to work. It may take up a little room, but this buys me time. Oh, here's another milkweed I transplanted, see? I just have to keep it well watered. So I keep the watering can here and make sure it gets plenty of water until it develops its root system. Pull that out of a tote. By coming home from the nursery, unless it's something I planted from seed, I'm going to get it planted in a unique way. Then they're going to go into a dish pan or whatever I've got, because I have to lift the whole thing out to move it. But here's the thing. I can let them start growing here. I'm not going to get those. They're stunted because they've been in their little pots. But look at all new growth already. I did this a couple days ago. Now I can go set up wherever I want to plant them. If you were planting them in the ground, you could take them just like that and move them in the ground. I'm going to be doing them in totes. So now I can grab the ones I want. I'm going to do them all this way. And maybe I'll just use the chairs that I'm not using by sitting it on there until I get to it. But now I won't lose so many plants, because I've been sitting here with all these plants trying to figure out, okay, where do I want to put this? Where do I want to put that? They've been in those little paper cups, and it's really hard on the root system. Well, that stops now. The buck stops now. Is that how they call it? It's going to be set up that way. Then this can sit for a month until I get to it. And they will not come out of those pots, but they're done in a very unique fashion. And yes, it's done with whatever newspaper came. I think it's going to work good. I haven't done it yet, but the way it's set up, now it's like, let's say it sits for 2 weeks. Hopefully it won't. I can say, oh, I need that because I'm working on the chair garden. So I can take this whole thing, bring it to the chair garden and plant it in there, and it doesn't even know it's got moved. And that's the big thing. It has no idea it was moved. It just keeps on growing. And that is going to buy me time. And then I should be able to get all this out. All these totes back there that I'm not using, I probably will use it for composting. I'll find a nice, neat, clean way of stacking them somewhere. You know, maybe right here. The ideal thing would be to put it by a tree. Maybe that's why the pomegranates are doing so well. Sit it somewhere. That would be neat. It wouldn't look bad. I can take the old totes I'm not using, move those chairs this way, do this method on those chairs, and then have the totes there. Anytime I pick up twigs or branches or leaves I don't want, throw it in those totes and then get rid of all this pile. I just told Gary, don't go moving anything, because if he moves it, then I got to run around the yard looking for everything. Right now I know where everything is. There's something I bought years ago, and I was going to make a bird fountain. Still haven't done it. And I'm going to go through all this. So see, I've got dirt. Anytime I empty a container, I have dirt. You know, I have the extra soil out of there. So I don't want to throw it away or dump it on the ground, because it's completely usable when I'm planting. So this is going to be fantastic. And I also need to get some of these wheelbarrows emptied, because I need an empty one to drag one around. So now I'm going to go plant my basil in here. I'm setting it up, but I think I'm going to leave it in, I am going to leave it in the container. I don't want to put it into shock. It's a plant that's only going to last a year anyways. And that is going to go into, as you all are calling it, the salsa garden now, because I want basil in there. I want to get, I think I'm going to put some cilantro in there. I'm going to get my potato mint out. I don't need the potato mint in there. It's only in there for layering. I can take that and I can put the potato mint maybe with the zucchini I'm going to put there, because it's just a container. It's just layering. I'm really excited about the pepino. By moving it that way, and it doesn't even know it got moved. I mean, the roots were just so packed down that when I got a shovel under there, I lifted the whole thing up and I just kind of slid it over. I was going to take this out and move this. This is the irrigation tubing. This is 1/2 inch. Look how I put the clips there in case I have to put tool or something on it. Took my soldering iron, made a hole, and now I've got clips hanging there. So if I draped over some, tool, the material, I can just clip it on and it's not going to go anywhere. And I was going to take it out, but then I realized no, because if I leave the pepinos to get ripe, then the squirrels can come up here because they smell it. It's real sweet. So I'll leave that and I'll just get some other irrigation tubing up. I love that. It's the best thing to cover. It doesn't snag on the tool when you want to drape it on. I make these clips. I've got so many videos on how I make the clips, so you don't even have to buy any clips. See how the tool is being held on? By irrigation clips. These are made. And then this works really good. I've gotten so many on here, but the problem was I had some squash and I had females and no males, but this one I got, so that's good. Brassica's growing. Isn't that cool? It's still in the cottage cheese container. Or yeah, I don't have cottage cheese. My doctor said no cottage cheese. I am banned from cottage cheese. But I can have sour cream and yogurt. Why? The salt. I had no idea that cottage cheese had so much salt. I never really paid that much attention. And she said, your blood pressure went up. What are you eating lately? That was last year. And I said, no, I'm eating good. And then I have cottage cheese with some fruit that's it. And so she said, eat all the sour cream you want, but not cottage cheese. So it's a sour cream container. Yeah, I didn't know the content of salt was that high. And we'll get to look at the size of that pepper over there. It's on the back side when I walk in, so I didn't see it. Put a tomato there. Why? I'll have to explain that when I get in there, but why did I put that in the corner? It was an extra tomato plant that I had. It was floating around, trying to figure out where to put it. Also in a pot, big holes on the bottom. And I thought, I can't really reach. This is like a 30. Can we read that? Yep, 35 gallon. I didn't even know that tag was still there. That's good, it's there. These are 35 gallon containers I got for like 10 bucks at Walmart. The problem is it's hard to reach. I had watermelon all over here last year. So I figured put a tomato. I can reach and see the tomatoes on the top. And then maybe put a watermelon or something to go this way where I can reach. This is all going to be changed up anyways. After doing the other side, I figured this was a total waste of space. Anyways, like I said, this is a nothing with nothing video. If I bored you, tell me and I won't do it again. But these are just little techniques. I do a lot of stuff and I may not do a video on it because I don't think about it, like taking a plant out and lifting it up. There was that much soil attached to the roots. Gently lifting it up by myself, sliding it on to the soil that I just prepped yesterday. Just stuff, whatever stuff I had in there. Made sure the very bottom had some soil out of those wheelbarrows, just something that was pre-used but ready to go. Everything else underneath is like I do all the time, and I just laid it on there, and this is going to be great. It does need a good grooming. I'll get a chair, and I'll sit there quietly, and I'll take that all off and clean it up, and then the plant will be happy. These grow from cutting so easy that, I'll show you for a minute, that it's almost like a non-miss. Like, oh, you're going to plant 5 because one will make it. No, you're going to plant 5 and 5 will make it. I just stuck them in here. I stuck one here. I stuck a bunch of pieces here. Not one piece died from the top plant. Another pepino thing. I don't know if it gets enough sun here because they don't get sun till afternoon, but the foliage looks pretty. And then I'm going to get some peppers spotted in the rest of the bucket. This has to go. See, more soil. So that's what I'm going to do there. But you just break off a piece. You literally would just cut it like here and just shove it in the ground. That's it. This needs grooming too. This is old. And look at this. This is another sour cream container, could be cottage cheese, because this has been here for over 2 years, and I had it planted in there, big holes on the bottom, and talk about a perennial, sent its roots in that smaller bucket. It's not even a 5-gallon bucket, and it's growing in there, but we can add soil to the top, so the roots will come closer to the surface for it. It's doing good, so it's actually there for cuttings. I don't get a lot of fruit off of it, but now I can take all the cuttings I want. See when it's happy how big the leaves are compared to when it's cramped little leaves? But that's all right. That can be a sacrificial plant to make more plants out of. And this plant came from this one, this pepino, that is really old. Look at how woody it is. Technically, I should compost this, but we'll see when I get to it. I might do the same thing I did to that one. Maybe chop it all out, lift it out, put it in another tote. I don't even know if I want it here. Put it somewhere else. Oh no. And then let it regrow. But this is the one I'm getting all my plants off of. This one was cut about 3 years ago and just shoved in the corner there. And this is the one that's still, see, you just saw all the ones from the other side. Isn't that cool? Oh, and I'm also composting in the pitcher back here. And I need to get some more stuff in there. So that helps too. This is going. I don't want any milkweed in here. I want the milkweed to be somewhere else, and I want this to go back to be a pure vegetable garden. I'll leave the hummingbird's lunch, though it's very much struggling because it's root bound in there. But anyways, that was it. So I hope you picked up some tips, and maybe you can do that too. If you're doing the same thing I'm doing, you're buying plants and then you're going, oh my gosh, I don't have time to plant them right now. Where do I want to put them? Get them set up the way you want and then just drop them where you want. Annuals. You can do that with annuals. I do it all the time and it's great. Perennials, you have to think about it. Yeah, you have to think about it. You have to think about it. What, 3-4 years in that? So anyways, it works good. I'm going back to work because I want to get that basil in the new pot. And this is going to go into my tomato garden, as you call salsa garden. And I'm just going to cut the bottom off. Look, I labeled it. Something that I can touch and know what it is and see. But I got something labeled. I'm going to cut the bottom off on this because it's just a food container. But I'm going to leave it in there so it won't go into any shock at all. And I'll have basil growing in with my tomatoes. So with that, have a wonderful day. I'm getting back to work before Gary calls me and says breakfast is ready. And I want to feel like I accomplished something today in case I don't get back here to work and I end up working on the computer or something. So with that, again, have a wonderful day. And don't forget to eat what you grow. Okay, guys, we'll get you in something big. Maybe I'll get you in the buckets over there. Yeah, I might do that now. Bye-bye. There's my basil planted next to, that's a good question. Oh, that's my cherry tomato, black cherry. And then I'm going to get rid, see, this is potato mint. This isn't staying in here. I will just sit it right there right now. I'm going to put this here. And this is a cutting I'm doing. Just a geranium cutting. It can sit here. Look pretty. Then I'm going to put this here. This is just a food container or something. And see all the holes I made? So I'm going to do the same thing that I do with the pitcher. It's just a lot of holes. It's going to go in there. And then I can add in leaves like I do here. And that slowly will sink down too. So even if I don't bury it all the way, I can add more soil or leaves or anything to the top, compost on the top, mulch, and the worms can still go back and forth. So that's going to go here. That'll be really good.